Is this thing on? Hopefully so. I'm about to get comfortable real quick because this is going to be the first episode of Layla's Mind. Okay. Well, so I don't have an intro, obviously, because this is my very first episode and one of my only ever times that I've ventured into something like this or a YouTube scenario of some sort. So forgive me if this is my first time and I don't really understand how it all works just yet. But hopefully I'll gain my ropes and I'll get a little intro and things like that eventually. But anyways, so to start off, I have my little iPad with me here and I just wrote down a couple random things that I thought maybe would be good to start this first episode of the podcast with so you guys can get to know me a little bit better. And so that way this podcast has a meaning and like a reason behind the season and stuff like that. Um, so my name is Layla Babi. It's the name that I go by. It's who I am. You may or may not know me from some other online ventures that I've ever done. I think maybe you could put those two and two things together because, yeah, I feel like that just is a given for if I'm beating around the bush. Obviously, it's OF. And I have done some more mainstream, content, but just a couple of videos, not that many. So I have been on, the other platform sites like that, but not clothed. Some stuff about me. I'm live in a small town. I'm a small town girl. I'm a transgender woman. I have probably been this way for my whole entire life. This is something that never came as a shock to anybody. No matter when I came out as gay or when I came out as transgender, this was nothing new for the general population of people that knew me. If you knew me and you're in my life and you accepted me at that point, then you probably were going to continue to accept me from this point on. Like, not much was going to change. Yes, I live in a small town, so it's a little bit weird over here because I am a mixed lady as well. My dad is black and Puerto Rican, so I have a lot going on there too. Um, I was raised in two very, very different households. I feel like, as most kids of mixed parents will tell you, or things like that. And in my small town, I feel like any kid that's black or of color or mixed, like, we all have pretty similar experiences when you come from a small town and, it's mostly like white, like prejudiced people. Um, I feel like I grew up in a unique time period though, like during the legalization of gay marriage, and like it was like cool to have a gay bestie back in the day and things like that. So whatever. I guess more about my small town and like my family and stuff like that. So my mom lives here. I was raised with my mom. I was not really raised with my dad in the same household. We were in separate households. I seen him every other weekend and certain holidays and things like that. Um, my mom's the white girl. She taught me, I would say, most of my like compassion and love and generosity and different kinds of things like that. My dad's kind of like a hard piece for me to study. Um, he's an interesting character. That can be literally an episode of its own, father issues podcast. I feel like we could really get into something there. Like, that's deep. Um, all right, so I guess enough about me. You guys will get to know me as the time goes on. Um, So why I'm doing this podcast? Basically, I'm doing this podcast because I love watching podcasts, and I feel like the more the merrier. I always want to watch a new podcast. I never really find too many that I love besides, like, the girly pop interest ones that, like, the ones that get us all to watch it. We're all watching the same ones out there. So I just want to be added to the list of things that people watch and maybe people pay attention to. Is that so bad to say? Like, is that so bad to say? Excuse my hair. Also, I think it was like Paris Hilton or somebody that said, like, you always need an off camera mirror so that way you can check how you look. And I would never agree more because I feel like right now, me being able to see myself in a mirror, like, I can tell my hair doesn't look the best ever, but I also know that it looks decent enough to keep going. So it's a really important little trick I feel like everybody should keep in their back pocket. What was I just saying? Oh, yeah. Basically, the reason why I want to start this podcast is because I want to be a part of the podcast that everybody else does and things like that because I think it's fun and I think it's cool and I like to talk. I'm a big talker. I love to just say a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. I feel like I'm not like stuck in my ways opinionated, but I will be opinionated about things, but I'm willing to be like, oh, yeah, I never looked at it that way. I'm so sorry. My bad. Like, I never looked at it that way. Um, Also, I guess I'm looking just to have some fun, to tell stories. I feel like now at 26 years old, a transgender woman, I have a lot of stories to tell. I've been through a pandemic. I mean, we all have. But I've been through a pandemic. I've been through a major breakup. I've been through lots of dating stories and history. And also, then kind of a big major comeback in my relationship story and history with my current boyfriend now. That was actually my big breakup ex-boyfriend. That is literally a story in itself. Like, this is a huge story. Like, I didn't have a boyfriend, had nothing ever in my life till I was 19 years old. Um, Turned 19. Shortly after, started dating my now current boyfriend, and it's a very interesting story in my official opinion. I feel like there's a lot to be said. Let me zoom in right here. Cause if my little vapes are in the camera, I'm gonna be really tagged. I'm just gonna hide them, and everything's gonna be okay. I'm sure. You know how somebody always has an editor? I'm hitting my vape right now. I'm like, oh, so and so cut this. I can't breathe. This is why you should vape. You know you shouldn't vape when it starts hitting you like that. You know you shouldn't. When it starts hitting you like from your breath. Any hoozy. I hope those vapes weren't in the camera the whole time. But I'm trying to catch my breath real quick because, those things kill. One day, I feel like I gotta get away from it. Oh, yes. As I was saying, sorry, I had to bring up my notes again. I'm doing this to also have fun. Yeah, because I just want to have fun, good time with my life and myself. And two, I need a pivot. I need a big pivot in something. I don't want to do what I'm doing anymore really that bad. I mean, I do. I love what I do. Don't get me wrong. I feel like I'm an empowered baddie because of it. I just think that for me, it's not realistic for my full lifelong dreams and love of my life. Like, I feel like I can't do this for my whole life just because I think that that's a normal thing too, right? Or wrong? Like, I guess there are 60-year-old, like, actresses. Is that what people call them? As like a cuter term than a, you know what I was gonna say. You know what I was gonna say. You knew what I was gonna say. Um, yes. I think I always had the dream of being Cinderella, and it's my glass slipper and it fits me, and it's not these dirty old stepsisters freaking slipper. It's my slipper, and I'm supposed to wear it, and I'm supposed to be taken to the prince's castle and dance with the princey. I'm supposed to be with the princey. And I don't think Cinderella was showing cheeks on the internet. I don't think she was. I hate to say it. I know she worked for what she got. But no, I really do think that I was made for a picket fence lifestyle. And though I have not fostered a picket fence lifestyle, that doesn't mean that it's not for me. And that doesn't mean that it's not for a lot of us that, maybe have gone down different paths in our lives. And I don't think we have to regret it. I don't regret it right now. So hopefully I never regret my life and my career choices. I think I'm ever so grateful, really, for where I was and how I really feel like I was at the bottom of the barrel before I found this career in streaming and OF and different kinds of things like that. I was at my very wit's end. So I'm ever so grateful. I feel like I found this community and this platform and different kinds of things like that. And I don't think hopefully should never regret my decisions and the things that I've done in my life, because it got me to where I am today. And that's the whole point, is just ending up where you are now. I feel like it's the most best part about life, right? Is if you did anything differently, maybe you wouldn't end up here right now. So I'm ever so grateful. Okay. So I guess let's harken back to what should we touch back on? My life, my family, my career. Who knows? I guess we could just start back at the top of my life. So I obviously, I guess, was born with blonde hair and blue eyes and a boy. Dun dun dun. Probably the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my life, being born a boy. Dun dun dun. I'm serious. Not really. I don't know if I can leave that in there. I mean, fuck it. Who cares at this point? Everybody knows. Um anyways, so I was born in a small town. Um gosh, I don't even know what to say. Like, is it like the Midwest or something like that? I think maybe I'm like a Midwest girl. Like, who knows? Sorry, I touched my hair a lot. It's something that I do. It's something that I'm gonna have to get used to not doing, or you're gonna have to get used to me doing. So there's two options to this situation. One of them is I stop doing something that I've done my whole life. The other is you get over it quickly. Hopefully it's the second option. But hopefully I do learn one day to stop touching my hair. Also, I feel like you'll notice that I'm really not good at staying on topic, so I'll try. But like I don't know if I can. I'm going to try though. Um Yes, so born in a small town, not much to do here besides, make friends with the locals and things like that. I think the best part about living in this small town has been the friendships and the lifelong friendships that I've made along the way. Um, Notably, I think one of those is my neighbor. She's wonderful. Hopefully, I can have her on the podcast at one point and we can do an episode together about, growing up together and things like that. My grandparents lived next to her parents, literally next door neighbors. Our yards were connected. And my older sister and her older siblings used to all hang out with each other. And also, maybe I shouldn't say his name. My bad. Let me rewind. Let me give a different name. Or let me just say, she would play it with the boy over there. And then when we started growing up, or when I got born and thought of um, my friend was born and thought of, and then we started connecting with each other in the same yard that our older siblings used to connect in before that. Ooh, I got a text message. Oh, it's my boyfriend telling me he's on his way home. He may or may not have to wait for a little bit because I do really want to do this, finish this, and like have it one whole sitting. So he might have to wait. And that's just something that is a possibility. Yeah. Sorry, that distracted me. Where was I? Oh, the lifelong friendships I've made along the way. Wow. Yes. So there's that lifelong friendship. I met another one of my lifelong friends in preschool, and I met another one of my lifelong friends. Two of my lifelong friends, I guess, through in middle school, I guess it would be. And like those are the people that I would say like right now are the closest to me. That are just popping off the top of my head right now. I have another friend actually that's like one of my closest friends since I was a child as well that lives far away. So I guess that's why I didn't think of her right this moment. But that's not to say she means any less to me because she does not mean any less to me, and I promise you that much. Um, yes, the lifelong friends are the best part, I would say. I'd also have to say, given my personality and circumstances and the way that I was as a person, it wasn't something that I really dealt much with or noticed much of in losing friends when it came to becoming gay or becoming transgender. I feel like I haven't really seen many people dip out of my life for that factor. Um, just because I feel like, as I said before, it's not something that I was ever able to hide. It was something that it was very obvious. Um, I don't know how much else to explain it. I guess there could be a deeper dive onto it if I really thought about it and put a little bit more thought into it and behind it. It isn't something that I'm grateful for, but it isn't something that I fully have experience with understanding, being able to be one person and then change fully to a different person. I've kind of always been this person that I am, and my outsides kind of because it has kind of just changed to represent my personality and who I am, has have always been. What else can I say? I feel like I've had like some really influential teachers in my life as well too. I feel like those kinds of things really help as a kid growing up when you feel like you have a connection to an adult and Maybe they see you maybe in a little bit of different way than your family or your friends see you, because they're just a removed adult from the situation. Of course they care about you and love you, I'm sure, but like, you guys get what I'm saying. I feel like when it comes to like that third party validation where somebody's like loves and cares about you but isn't your parent or anything like that, it just means slap. I would say I did deal with some bullying, of course. I used to get teased all the time about playing with girls and sounding like a girl and acting like a girl and listening to girl music. I feel like just the average, excuse me, I feel like just the average and, the typical of a little girl growing up in a boy's body. It's not something that I feel like a lot of people see all the time or experience all the time. And it definitely makes people feel different about themselves. They don't know how to categorize you, and it makes them uncomfortable. And in turn, then you get made to be felt uncomfortable as well. I would say probably the biggest place of bullying is like the school bus. Has anybody else experienced that? Is the school bus like the main place you got bullied? Because I feel like it was so like removed. Like you could be like the bus driver had to pay attention to the bus. So I feel like I got teased on there a lot. Let me think. I guess middle school would be when I started having my first crush and like I came out for real as like gay and stuff, even though I didn't necessarily come out as gay. I actually came out as liking boys because I guess I thought that that was like not weird for me. Because to me, it felt weird for me to be gay because I didn't really feel gay. Like, I didn't feel like a man that liked men. Like, I felt like just like I liked boys. So it was something that I didn't really like to come out as back in the day. Like, it was a little weird for me, but it did make me a lot more comfortable, a lot more open. I feel like my friends were happy for me that I was able to be open and honest with them, and it created a lot of pathways to deeper relationships and stuff like that when you're actually able to be honest with yourself as well as the people that you're in the friendship with. Um, what else can I think? I guess 17, I moved in with my dad, and that was an interesting occasion. It actually was probably one of the worser parts of my life. That can be pretty much a dedicated episode in itself. I feel like I've said that a lot, but like, it's just making me think about, there's a lot of different things that I could literally talk about forever. But it was not really the best experience going to live with him. The thing that came out of it the best was my lifelong friendships. Rest in peace to my one friend. My other friend, thank God she's still alive. Just seen her recently for my birthday. It was amazing. I'm so grateful for her and our lifelong friendship now that we have because of that. We both went through quite a lot of different things back in that time period. Yeah, actually, it went so bad that I ended up moving back home to my mom's. Um, Graduated from my hometown, which I'm really happy that I ended up doing because I don't think I would have liked it if I didn't do that. So I'm very happy that I came back to graduate in my hometown. Um, I would say from there on, things started changing for me like rapidly from like 17 to 18. I started gaining a lot more like self consciousness and like awareness that like I was able to do more things myself and didn't really have to like get permission to do things. Um, I started growing out my hair, which is something that I never been able to do really without permission. Um, I got my ears pierced at one point. I got a tattoo. Um, I was getting, I had been getting my nails done since I was a baby, honestly. But when I consciously made the decision that like I was going to get my nails done again for myself, like against the grain of the universe, was middle school time period is when I started experiencing with nail polish and growing my nails out and things like that. I would say when I graduated high school is when I started doing like more acrylic nails and stuff like that. Um, excuse all my ums and stuff too. Hopefully I get better with that as well. Slash can cut them and make it not horrible. Middle school, I was experimenting with the nail polish and growing my nails out. High school, I was still experimenting with the nail polish and growing my nails out and like going to the salon and, getting gel polishes and stuff like that. The color changing or the matte, like whatever it may be. What else am I thinking? Yes, then I went to like get acrylics and started getting like a little bit more longer and different kinds of stuff like that. And I had my ears pierced and was wearing hoops and was wearing a purse and different kinds of things like that. Very much experimenting with my life and different kinds of things like that. I would say 2021, 2022 is when the deal really got sealed with my transition and things like that. And I finally like made the decision, and felt it in my brain and my body that this was the decision for me. And I wasn't going to look back because it was something that I kept experimenting towards, and I didn't want to experiment away from it ever. I noticed it was something that I felt more comfortable in every day, something that I liked better to be called girl, something I liked more to be recognized, going into a store and people calling me she, things like that. It was pretty important for me. Started changing a lot of things with my mental stability and ability to see myself in new lights and in different places in life. Like, I never really thought that I would ever get to this point in my life. I never thought that I would see myself succeed down this path and be successful at all in anything that I'm doing. And the fact that I have somehow, some way figured out how to get some sort of success out of myself and my experiences and all this, it is something that I feel grateful for that I've pushed myself towards to do, I feel like a lot of people don't even fail because they don't even try, right? So I am very grateful for all the times that I failed and my mess ups and my different kinds of things like that, and thinking I would never make it and I would never be anybody. And I still really am not, I'm only really anybody to people on Twitter and like a lot of male fans, male centered fans. And I don't want just male centered fans. I want to open myself up to the girls and the gays and my other transgender sisters. I know some people don't like that. I know some people are like, oh, just because we're transgender, I'm not your sister. Well, guess what? I'm your sister. Whether you think I am or not, I'll be here for you and I'll shine for you. And I'm going to help you by showing you me. I feel like that's important, right? Isn't it just good to just see yourself somewhere represented, no matter what it looks like, or, I think, maybe I take that back a little bit, because we all know when they try to put a little man in a wig and then they call it transgender on the TV screen. Oh my God. That's not right. There's a lot of pretty girls out here and you could cast them. but you don't cast them. You would rather cast this obvious choice, in my opinion, when you could do the better choice and really put a mark on us. Not that we're all the same or we all have to be beautiful or whatever, but I think that it's important that better representation is given of the real diversity and beauty of transgender women. It's important. We need to start seeing it. We need to start seeing it represented. We need to see it represented in the media. We need to see it represented in a podcast. I feel as though it's something that I look up to when I see another transgender woman being successful at what she's doing and liking what she's doing and being pretty and happy while doing it and, well, you know, experiencing the ebbs and flows of life. We all do. I just like watching it, you know? I don't care what you're really talking about. Sometimes I really care. Obviously, I'm not trying to say I don't care. I'm just trying to say, like, you could be talking about anything and it makes me interested because you're representing me. So if I can hear somebody that represents somebody like me speak, it makes me feel better. Am I ranting about this? Pardon me. Hopefully that makes sense though. That, like, hopefully I can just be some sort of representation, even if it's for two people. Okay, let me re-chime back in. Okay. My boyfriend just arrived at home. I just got the notification on the Life 360, so I definitely have to figure out how I'm gonna text him or get him to know that maybe I should just call him on my iPad real quick. No, I won't. He'll be fine, I'm sure. If he calls me, then I can answer on the iPad. Anyways, what are some fun, interesting things about me? There really isn't anything that fun or that interesting, you guys. Okay, let's do a couple questions from the Google. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why? I don't really know any historical figures like that. If you were a ghost, who is the first person you would haunt? Oh my God. Actually, this is a really good question because my answer may or may not have changed within the past few months, you guys. Actually, me and my ex-boyfriend just got together after a 5-year breakup, and I probably would say if we weren't together right now, I think I might haunt him. Not in a negative way. Honestly, I would just do it in like a little fun, little silly little way. Like maybe you would get into the shower and all of a sudden the water runs cold. How does that keep happening? It's me. It's totally me. Or it's like, let me think. Like, what could I think? Like, oh, every time you leave the door cracked, it's somehow like wide open or shut completely every time you turn around. How did that happen? Like, how annoying would that be? Or like you're brushing your teeth, you know, or something like that, and like, I guess you wouldn't put your toothbrush down, but like, let's say like right before you brush your teeth, you get your toothbrush out, right? I'm gonna move it just a few centimeters to the right. So that way when you go and grab it, you be like, I swear I put that. I feel like that would be so funny. I would do that. All right. So since my person that I would haunt is him and he's not really gonna be the person I would haunt anymore, I guess who would it be? Geez, this is actually a really hard question because immediately I feel like everybody would say my ex, but it's impossible for me to do my ex now because we're dating. I guess I would still haunt him. I would haunt my boyfriend because then I would come back and I would be like, ooh, baby. I would just be saying, I would just haunt him, you know. I would like move our picture frames or like leave little notes or like things like that. Like I would change the radio to stations that are songs like that are like, oh, I love you and you're so nice and I miss you, like things like that. You guys, I never told you about the reality TV that I've been watching. So currently, I guess, let me throw away these questions. Let me tell you about the reality TV I've been watching real quick. So lately, I've been watching The Traitors. Duh. Is anybody else extremely annoyed with Rob? All right, hey, everybody wants to play pretend like, oh, he's a good game player and this and that and the whatever. Hello? Does it matter if it's good at your playing the game if you just make me angry every single day? Like, does it matter? Does it matter? Whatever. Anyways, I really, really liked Ron. I miss him. I feel bad that he got kicked out the way that he did. I miss Lisa. I took back my dislike over Jam Jam because of the Trisha Paytas episode, of course. But for me, I did not like that he screamed Lisa's name after Rob was already manipulating people into trying to get her out. Not a game I like to play. I know that it's called The Traitors, and he was saying that and stuff like that. I don't know. However you want to say it, I don't like him. And that's that on that. I watched him on the Love Island. I didn't like him then either. So it's not really my fault if I don't like the guy. I'm sure he's a really amazing person in real life. I just have a really hard time sometimes when people are painted in a certain light on the internet and stuff like that to not just join on the bandwagon. You know, it's hard for me to not join on the bandwagon. I mean, also for me, I am a girl's girl, so I like Lisa more than I'll like any man that isn't gay on that show. So, like, if you're a straight man on that show, I don't think that for me personally, you're my cup of tea. But, anywho's, I just think that more women should be in it right now. And those women should include Candace and Lisa. And I'm sorry I'm saying that because I just believe it to be true. They're really good TV. And, like, what am I supposed to do now? Be bored watching the Rob show? It's Rob's Traitors. Like, I don't want to watch that. I want to watch Lisa's Traitors. Alan Cummings Traitors. Gay. Pick more gay people. I don't know if any of this is real. Please don't be mad at me. You guys, don't get mad. Whatever. I've been watching that and the Beast Games. Pretty good. Monica. Monica. The way she did exactly what I wanted her to do. She cried about that coin. I said, oh my God, I took $0. The way she turned around, she said, I took zero. I just couldn't do it. I said, yes, girl. Trick them all. You got $500,000 and nobody needs to know a thing. And you shouldn't have told Jim. It's the first thing that I said when she got her money was, I wouldn't tell my boyfriend because I don't need you cracking a smile at any given moment. Who knows when you'll smile? Because it's in your subconscious. And I don't want it in your subconscious. You need to be like every other player on this field right now, and you need to believe that I have $0 to my name. It is the most imperative thing to me getting away with this $500 is nobody knowing. Whatever. I guess I'll talk more about this later. I feel like I've rambled on for quite a bit of time now, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to cut a lot of this anyway. Hopefully there's some sort of good content in this video somewhere, and somehow it's interesting. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'm not sure the days that I'll be uploading or what I'll be doing at all, really, at all. So just stick with me and we'll see how it goes. And I hope you love it. And I hope I love you. So I'll see you soon. And next time, we're going to be talking about tons of different things, more reality TV, more about my life, more about whatever. Okay, love you so much.